Okay, in today's lesson, we're going to take what you learned in class today that dealt with combining like terms in the distributive property, and we're going to apply it to um, equations now. When we look at um, using the distributive property and combining like terms in terms of equations, we like to call those multi-step equations. So that's what this entire section is about. It's all about solving multi-step equations. Equations where it takes more than one or two steps to solve. So if we look at our first example, what I would recommend doing first every time is either distributive property or combining like terms. We need to get things that look similar um, paired together. And so if we look at this side of the equation, remember in order for them to be like terms, they have to have the same variables, and the variables have to have the exact same exponents. All three of these have the same variable. It's a p in each one. And the variables that are there have the same exponents. And so we can combine these. So you can take 4.7 plus 8.7 minus 2.6. And when you do that, you get 10.8 p. So I'm going to bring everything else straight down. Now, once I've combined that, if you look, we actually ended up getting a one-step equation in the end. We have 10.8 times p. Rewrite that a little bit neater. 10.8 times p. Since we have 10.8 times p, then to get rid of it, we're going to have to divide because the goal is still the same. We're trying to get p to be all by itself, so we have to get rid of whatever's paired with it. On this side, you're left with just p, which is good. It's all by itself. And then we take 93.96 divided by 10.8, and you should get 8.7. By the way, I am not good enough to do this in my head. I am using a calculator, so feel free to do the same. I did type into the calculator how to add these, add and then subtract these to get my 10.8, and then I typed in, remember, always type in the top number divided by the bottom number. So that's our first multi-step equation. Um, it took multiple steps to be able to get our answer. Uh, and so let's try a second one. That one was actually relatively easy. Looking at the second one, it's going to be a little bit more complex, but we can still get it. Okay, we have negative, then parentheses 10 and 1/5 plus y. So like I said over here, there's going to be multiple steps, but you always want to either distribute first or combine like terms. So in this case, we're actually going to be distributing. At first glance, it looks like there's not even a number out here, but we've got to remember that anything touching an operation sign like that without a number there or touching a variable is going to be the number 1. So this is actually negative 1 times the quantity 10 and 1/5 plus y. And so that means the distributive property is going to distribute it to both. So you're going to get negative 10 and 1/5 because negative 1 times 10 and 1/5 is negative 10 and 1/5. And then negative 1 times y is negative y, or negative 1y. And that equals 2 2/3. So notice that the distributive property did not distribute across that equal sign. It only applies to what's in the parentheses. So now we have a two-step equation. We need to get rid of two different numbers. One, we need to get rid of this 10 and 1/5. Because it's negative, the way we're going to get rid of that is by adding. And the second number we need to get rid of is this negative 1. And because it's multiplied to y, we're going to divide. The rules of two-step equations tell us to always add or subtract first, so we're going to add 10 and 1/5 first. We're going to do that to both sides. These cancel, you're left with negative 1y. So notice we still have some work to do. Y isn't by itself yet, but we're getting closer. So now you got to take 2 and 2/3 plus 10 and, that should be a 1/5. You can do this by hand. However, you might as well utilize the technology that you have uh, as a resource. Just type it into your calculator, or if you'd like to use your fraction app that we downloaded, you can do that as well. But so I'm going to type in 2 and 2/3, and then I'm going to hit plus, and then 10 and 1/5, and then hit enter. When you do that, you get 193/15, but we need to simplify that. And so when we do the long division, it goes into there 12 times to get 180. Subtract that, you get 13. So we're going to get 12 and 13/15. So negative 1y equals 12 and 13/15. Now we need to divide both sides by negative 1. And then we should get y equals negative 12 and 13/15. Okay, the last example we're going to do this. This one uh, asks us h plus 3h plus 4h equals 36 plus 64. So the first step is always going to be either distributive property, which there is no distributive property here, so or combine like terms. Well, we have multiple things that we can combine here. You've got h, you've got your 3h, and your 4h. I'm going to erase those because it kind of covers up the numbers, but basically you can see that all of these have the same variables, so we can combine it. Remember, this h is the same as 1, so you're going to have 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 4 is 8h. We can also combine on this side. You can see 36 is 64. They're both constants. They don't have variables. So you can add those up, and 36 plus 64 gives us 100. And now we have a one-step equation. Remember, the whole goal is to get variable by itself, so we need to get rid of this 8. The way we're going to get rid of that 8, because it's currently multiplication, we're going to divide. We're left with h equals 100 over 8. We can simplify that by pulling out a 4. And then we get 100 divided by 4 is 25. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And now we need to turn it into a mixed number, so whenever the top number is bigger than the bottom number, we put it on the inside of the division sign. 2 goes into 25 12 times to get 24 with a remainder of 1. So that means we get 12 and 1 half. 12 and 1 half. Okay, I hope that answers your questions and gives you the basics of multi-step equations. Be ready for a quiz tomorrow. Good luck.